Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Indah Syarafi. I will read a story about using cell phones. What do you do if your cell phone rings while you are with a group of people? If you are friends, you will probably ignore the cell. If you are English, you may walk away from the group to answer it. If you are Spanish, you are likely to answer in the middle of the group and invite everyone around you to join the conversation. As many travelers have noticed, there are considerable differences from the country to another in the way people use their cell phones. This has been confirmed by a recent study of cell phone use in the European cities Madrid, London and Paris, in spite of the fact that these cities are all in the European Union and share a great deal of history and culture. Local customs are still very different. This custom influences the way people in the city use their phones in public. According to Emperor Lesson, two Spanish sociologists who conducted in study, there were no real surprise for anyone who is familiar with the custom in the cities. Les interviewed people and observed their behavior in their different settings: a major train station, a commercial area, and business districts in each city. She found that landers use their cell phone off less in public. If they are with others, they prefer to let calls be answered by voicemail, a recorded message, and they check for messages later. If the English to answer a call off the street, they seem to dislike talk with the other around. They learn to move away from a crowd at work and see out places where they cannot be heard, such that forces of subway enter or even the edge of street. They seem to feel that genre of the traffic is preferable to the rise of having the conversation be overheard. This has led to behavior that lesser of clustering at a busy time on the streets of London. You may find small crowds of cell phone users grouped together, each one talking into a cell phone even when it is raining as it often is London. People still prefer not to hold the conversation where others could hear. They, they talk under their umbrellas or in doorway. In Madrid, on the other hand, few, few people use voice mail because the Spanish dislike talking with machine rather than a real voice. If there is no answer, they not leave a message. They prefer to try again later or wait for a return call. And signs, the Spaniards are not shy about answering their calls in public. The calls may come sooner than you would in London or Paris. In fact, in Madrid it is common to hear common to have long and lively phone conversation on the street, accompanied by short slaughter and the waving of hats. In fact, sometimes it happens that a group of friends may be walked down in street together, each talking on their own phones, but smiling and nodding as talk is worth their conversation that everyone could hear. Even when they are not using their phones, the Spanish often hold them in their hands and they walk down the street or pat on the table at a restaurant, so they will not miss any incoming calls. In a movie theater, not only do cell phones occasionally ring, but people sometimes answer them and have brief conversation. In Paris, however, there are strict rules about how then and when to use cell phones. It is not considered polite to use phone in a restaurant. For instance, talk in may be acceptable in the more informal setting of a cafe. One special custom that has developed in cafe seems akin to more informal setting of a cafe. Special custom that has developed cafe seem inquaint to Paris. Young women often place their cell phones on the table beside them to signal that they are expecting someone. When the friends arrive, the couple is partway in the fact in front and generally fair disapproving of porn use public and are quickly express the disapproval even to strangers. In one area, sociologists around that French and Spanish were similar but were quite willing to continue a phone conversation in a romantic situation. Even kisses, someone present will continue on a conversation on the phone. These people were clearly not using video phone. In London, however, no one was ever observed to be kissing while on the telephone. The English seem to prefer more privacy for the romantic moment. According to lesser cultural stereotypes, we supported by yet another difference, the notice of she conducted her study. In each of the other city, people related to her differently when as interview and observing. In Paris, people frown out at her. In London, they prefer to notice in mirror, however they did the same to mine. Understanding the habits of the European cell phones user has become a lively topic of study for sociologists and psychologists at European university. But with 1 billion cell phone users around the world, the subject is of interest not only to academic researchers. Habits of cell phone use are also a matter of serious study by telecommunication companies. If they can understand the local custom and customer better, they might be able to change people behavior and increase cell phone use. For example, if phone companies want to increase the profit in France, they need to convince people that it is acceptable to use their phone in restaurant. The Spanish not to be persuaded the voicemail is not so bad, and the English must love to leave their phones on all the time. I think that enough. I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.